Now, still on aviation matters, in its latest forecast on aircraft demand and air traffic trends, Boeing estimates that airliners in Africa will need to buy at least 1,200 or so planes worth over $180 billion in the next 20 years. Over 70% of those will likely be single-aisle jets. Think of the 737 or the Airbus A320 or the A320neo. Passenger and cargo traffic is forecast to grow at the fastest pace worldwide, second only to Latin America. Presently, though, only Ethiopian Airlines is profitable among the big state-owned carriers across the continent. Airspace across Africa is still extremely protected. So given those facts, how can this sector possibly grow at over 6.5% a year? That's a question I explored with Boeing's managing director for Sub-Saharan Africa a few hours ago.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. Most airlines in Africa have been having a difficult time, especially because of very strong market forces caused by three carriers in the Middle East, which are evolving enormously, as well as Turkish Airlines and the European carriers. Ethiopia has become very aggressive in the marketplace. They know what they're doing, they know where they're going. The point I would like to make when you compare Ethiopian Airlines with other airlines, all these airlines are government-owned airlines. Yet, here you have an example with an airline such as Ethiopia that is 100% government-owned, yet it can be profitable. Why? Because the government does not interfere in the way the airline operates on a day-to-day basis. The airline operates on commercial grounds. The leadership of Ethiopian Airlines makes its own decisions. The decisions are based on what the market is demanding, what the market can support, and the government simply watches its airline grow and prosper. If Ethiopian Airlines can do that, why can't other airlines do the same? Let me give you another example. TAG Angola Airlines, also a government-owned airline. For many years, it operated under the strict umbrella of the government of Angola. It is still government-owned, but the government is taking more of a hands-off approach at the airline operation. The airline last year was almost profitable, and this year it will, for the first time in its history, post a profit. The airline is now allowed to operate by the government of Angola as a commercial identity, by commercial means. The same could happen in South Africa, the same could happen in Kenya as well.
Right. One of the underlying assumptions in traffic here within the continent is that you're looking at a compounded average growth rate per year in traffic of about 6.5% year on year. Does that forecast assume that the current highly protected, highly regulated national airspaces remain as they are, or does it assume that at some point 10, 15 years down the line, we're going to see a lot more consolidated, unified airspace?
Well, it's a very good question, and no, we don't want to wait 10 to 15 years down the line. We need to see the liberalization of the African market to take place now. Yesterday, I actually read an article that we expect that in January of 2018, 40 countries will finally have been fully signed the Yamoussoukro decision and declare their skies open. We need to see a liberalization of the African market. That liberalization will cause more airlines to prosper, it will cause lower prices for the consumer, generally for the traveling public. Yamoussoukro decision, as you know, has been around for many, many years, but really not much has taken place. The last year has seen a major push in the liberalization of the African market. I believe, and we believe at Boeing, that market liberalization, open skies, is essential for not only the commercial aviation industry to prosper, but it will prosper because it will have more passengers. When airlines are allowed to compete in the marketplace openly and freely, when airlines are allowed to fly between different destinations, why can't Ethiopia go fly between Harare and somewhere else? Why can't TAG be able to fly between Cape Town and Joburg, or Mozambique flying to other destinations? When that happens, the prices will lower, but more people will be able to fly, and commercial aviation industry will be able to grow and to prosper.
Indeed.
We need to see that liberalization of the African market to take place now, not 10 or 15 years from now.
My conversation there with Miguel Santos, of course, a little earlier from Boeing.